It is time. Digital Trends Live is about to start. Here are some of the topics we're going to be covering on today's show. Shocking news. It appears that a couple of months after learning that Amazon employees may have been listening to some Alexa conversations, Google might be doing it too. And a spin-off of Virgin Galactic called Virgin Orbit successfully tested its Launcher One rocket system attached to a plane called Cosmic Girl. Will people be riding that rocket to space soon? And the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency has just acquired another rock sample from an asteroid after bombing it in early April. This is how Armageddon 2 starts. And there's a rival to Boston Dynamics Spot Mini out there now from a company called Anybotics with their Anymall robotic dog. It's probably better just to be friends with it now before they all take over. All that's coming up on today's Digital Trends Live. There it is, Riley. Yep. Portland, Oregon. Imagining all of those little robotic dogs taking over, slowly going down those lanes.
Yeah, apparently it's not summer here.
Yeah, well, that's also true. Yeah, it is not summer here. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. This is our daily show here from Digital Trends, where we bring you the trending tech topics of the day, news, interviews, all kinds of things while we're broadcasting live. Did I mention we're live? We like to prove that every day here. And we're broadcasting on LinkedIn Live, Periscope, Twitter, Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Dailymotion, Apple News. We're on 2 different mobile apps. We're on a smart TV app, and we're at digitaltrends.com/live. I tried to do it all in one breath. Didn't quite make it this time, but we are live. So you can drop in your comments, your questions, whatever you want to bring up through the show. We love having these conversations. Thank you to everybody. And George, thank you for noting that. I think we fixed that, so that's all coming through here right now. Let's continue on with the show, shall we? I'm Greg Nibbler, joined by Riley Wynn. Hello, Riley.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And, we enjoy being live. That's part of the fun of it.
Yeah.
We get to have this journey
spicy
together. It does. Yeah.
Keeps it spicy.
Yeah, we like to change it up a bit. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you find the Easter eggs that are going on, that we're dropping. It all ties together in this massive clue that we're trying to give you, that if you piece it together, you'll win the prize. All right, let's talk about some news, some trending stories. I did bring it up there in the opener, talking about Google Home. And this is a revelation that's coming out from somebody who leaked this information and actually spoke to a company. It's a Google employee. And this is coming 3 months after Amazon had their revelations that people were listening to Alexa conversations.
Yeah.
So employees listening to it and transcribing them.
Yeah, is anyone really surprised though?
And that's what I'm kind of wondering, at this point. So this is again a revelation from a Belgian public broadcaster. So big break for them, VRT NWS, and they revealed that contractors are paid to transcribe audio clips collected by Google's AI assistant. So these conversations that we have, and we had to kind of guess that was happening a little bit, but there's a couple of key things here that I think we couldn't have guessed on. And that's that they were recording without saying the awake word.
Yeah, but even that, I'm like, it's got to be listening all the time because there's this whole stigma with just your phone, it's always listening to you, and then as soon as you go on to use it, there's an ad for whatever you were just talking about. So that's been in people's minds for the last couple years.
True or not, that's
Yeah, if that's true or not, no one really knows, but. It's in your mind, so when you get a device that is meant to listen to you, when you prompt it, there's a good chance it's still listening when you're not prompting it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, so we shouldn't be shocked that it's doing this.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not condoning it and saying it's right, but.
See, this is how they get you. You just pretend like you're okay with it. But no, that is though. It's true. I mean, we have to understand that some of that happens, and part of what both Amazon and Google are doing, at least what Google is saying right now, is that they use that to help better the AI, to help it better understand what people are saying, so they get these transcriptions, they match it up and make sure that it works all right. I think why a lot of people may be a little unnerved is that it just seems like it's kind of underhanded, that we don't really know about this, and to a large extent we don't. And that's with this revelations, part of it is that a little bit unnerving is they said that this one contractor in particular even heard something where it sounded like a woman was in trouble.
Yeah, that was kind of sketchy reading that.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows when that was recorded, because it probably wasn't right then, but then there wasn't a procedure for what to do about that, and then is that a violation? There's so many what ifs in that, and it's such dicey territory.
Yeah.
What do you do on that?
Yeah, are you allowed to intervene?
Yeah. Because then that proves
then you're caught. Then you're caught that you're listening, or like
yeah.
someone's actually there, and it's not just the AI
Yeah.
listening, and it's an actual person.
And now Google did come out and say that it's only a small set. It's around 0.2% of all audio snippets that they take and then transcribe. And they said that it's critical for Google's technology and to further advance the Google Assistant. And then they're also trying to find out who this person was that leaked it. So they're going after this employee or former employee. Nobody knows. They said Google's now taking action against the employee, conducting a full review of our safeguards in this space to prevent misconduct like this from happening again. But what's the misconduct? Is it them, or is it just the fact
like,
that this guy said that?
This is happening? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it's misconduct because I'm sure that person signed like a NDA and stuff like that.
True.
So yes, it's breaking the rules that. The third-party contractor had with Google. But that, like, they said 0.2%, right?
Yes.
That's still a lot. Like that
That's a
looks
lot.
like a small number, but it's not.
Yeah.
Because there's so many prompts being sent into Google Assistant, and then even the employee himself said every week he transcribes around 1,000 audio snippets.
Yeah.
That's one person.
One person doing that.
So
we don't know how many there are.
Yeah, exactly. So it's insane.
I'm seeing some comments come through here. I just want to address a couple of these. So Damon just said, I put all my business information on Google Plus, so they have my information to make money, and giving a contract the shift. Nobody works for free. So I think what you're basically saying is that you realize that, like, if you're using that, then they get that information. James says, do we really not know that a technological product that listens to you to perform acts is not recording this information?
Exactly.
And that's true. George is saying protected under whistleblower laws, right? Question mark. Well, this is in Belgium, so I don't know what their rules are according to that. So hard to say. I don't know if that would count as a whistleblower.
It's an interesting situation too. Like, I think what's even more concerning, other than that there's a person listening, but it's a third-party company.
That's a good point. That's a good point to bring up.
Because I think there's a lot more.
You're right, and that's a very important point to this. Thanks for that it was a third party.
Yeah, like I think
employee of Google.
If a Google employee did this, the consequences would be immediate. Like, stuff would happen right away. With a third party, there's not that trust because you don't know. I don't know the company that is being contracted out.
And that a lot of their employees are contractors, so you're right. I guess that's not technically a Google employee, so maybe that changes things, and that's certainly an important aspect of that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Like, do you feel more comfortable if guy from ABC company was listening and transcribing your audio snippets, or a guy from Google listening and transcribing?
I don't know one way or another, because I don't necessarily trust anybody with that, although I think it's more just going into it, you have to be comfortable with the fact that that's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And the more of these smart assistants that we're going to be using, and the more that they're integrated, I think it's just part of the the space that we live in now, and if either you go in with it or you don't. But I think that it's probably something we have to get used to, and I'm seeing some of the comments kind of reflecting that. And I don't know if that's right or wrong, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of the conundrum that we're all in. Like, are we okay with this? Because we want these things to work better, and they do help us out, and when they assist things, it's great. But there's all that other information that has to go in to make that happen. So yeah, it's this dicey, weird territory.
It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's this moral quandary of like, what do we do when it comes down to that? And I don't have an answer for that. I don't think any of us do. It's something that we all have to think about. That's why this is a conversation and discussion. But that's the essential news is that Google, a Google contracted employee release this, saying that they are listening to some of the Google Home conversations in order to help further their AI. So what do you think of it? I mean, the more this is out there, the more we'll find out about it. But I think it all comes down to how we as the consumers react, because that's the only way that anything's going to change one way or another.
Yep.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
Very true.
So let us know what you think. It's always fun talking about this stuff, and this is the day that we live in, the age that we live in. We've got to start thinking about how we feel about this, or we just roll along with it and let it happen. And the robots will take over. All right, let's continue on with some conversations, and let's take a look at some Read 'em and Weep, where we take a look at the comments that you leave across our many different platforms, and we analyze them right here. We speak directly back to you, Justin. Regarding, speaking of robots, this robot feeds you tomatoes while you run. My dad always said they can put a man on the moon, but they can't find a way to feed me tomatoes while I'm running. It's finally happened. All right, Pete Pops. Justin, that is what the internet is for. Comments like that. thank you for leaving that there. You didn't mention 5G or complain about something. There's no emoji. I think that's a perfect comment.
And that video is ridiculous. I made that video. It's completely ridiculous.
So it's just you run along and it just feeds you tomatoes?
Yeah, so it was, I can't remember what country it was, but it was somewhere in Asia, and this guy built a robot that, it's like a backpack, you put it on, and it has these like claws that basically, while you're running, bring you a tomato like right in front of your mouth.
So you read like a harmonica, like a Neil Young with his harmonica.
It kind of looks like it's like this, and it's, but then the best part about it is
ridiculous.
The best part is the actual head of the robot is a tomato, like this giant tomato right above your head. And then like, so when I saw this video, I was like, okay, of course I have to make a video for this.
Yeah.
But then I was like, is there like a benefit of eating tomatoes while you run? And no, there is not.
So it's just
that is the quick answer. It's no. So there's like literal no point. Like I could understand bananas or like Gatorade. I mean, whatever.
Potassium or something.
Yeah,
but
something. No,
dude just likes tomatoes.
Yeah. It was like the strangest thing I've ever seen, and that's why I love the internet.
See, but exactly. This gives me hope for the world. That somebody's like, man, I love tomatoes. I'm gonna build me a robot that'll sit on my back and feed me tomatoes while I run. And he did it. Congratulations. We need to get that person on the show.
Tech for change, right?
Yes. Right. All right, me, Picasso. Regarding best Alexa hacks, Amazon Echo Input. Wow, first YouTube video, and I've watched probably 100,000. I can tell this is going to be mean. And I've watched probably 100,000 of them by now, and that I have seen more thumbs down than thumbs up. God love him. Okay.
That's my video.
Is it you? So can you tell us about this video?
Yeah, so it's Alexa hacks for the Amazon Echo Input, which is just essentially a smaller version of Alexa, and you hook it up to external speaker. It's not its own speaker. And we just said hacks. They're really tips and tricks, but hacks is just like people like to look for that kind of stuff. And
it's a more clickable term.
Yeah, it's more clickable, and it actually is like a more search term than tips and tricks.
Yeah.
And so, go with what works.
Yeah.
And so, it's not like I was like, I'm going to hack this Alexa. It was, no, these are tips and tricks. Like, you can order pizza with it. And, like, Domino's and Alexa have, like, a thing a deal together where you literally just say order Domino's and the pizza will start getting delivered.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
That's really dangerous. Well, I mean, YouTube, sometimes they're fickle.
The YouTube commenters, man. They're ruthless.
They are.
They are ruthless.
But hey, all the thumbs down, they still watched it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, hey, that's all.
Gotcha.
That's why I have a job.
All right. See, this is how we speak directly to you. So, me, Picasso, that was a direct response on that. This is why it's called Read 'em and Weep. Bryce, regarding The Office, is going to be removed from Netflix in 2020. I know this is a sensitive one for you.
Yep.
Not to stir the pot, but it's been like 12 years and 3 streaming platforms already. Anyone who really cares about The Office already has the DVDs/Blu-rays. As an Office fan,
I do have the DVDs. He's absolutely right.
There you go. So a true Office fan would already have those. Bryce, see, now that's on Twitter as well. So
he is right about people who care about it, but you underestimate people's laziness.
Yes.
Because I honestly don't know if when it gets taken off Netflix, if I'll watch it every night like I do now.
You watch it every night?
Yeah, I watch it every night before I go to bed.
All right.
So when it goes off Netflix and I can't say, like, when the Are You Still Watching comes up, I can't just, like, be in my bed and click, yeah, I'm still watching. Well, with the DVDs, there's only, like, 3 episodes, I think, on each disc. So I have to physically get out of bed.
Oh, yeah.
Go and put a new one in.
That's a lot of work.
Am I going to do that? Probably not.
No. You need to build a robot that takes the DVDs out and puts them back in.
Where's that guy who invented the tomato robot?
Right.
I need one for my DVDs.
Yeah, it's not worth the extra, $10 for the other streaming service. Just build a robot that does
Correct.
it. This is what we need. All right. Well, Bryce, thank you. You're helping us with innovation here on the show. Marty, regarding End of an Icon, the last VW Beetle rolls off the production line, dead until the next nostalgic reboot. Okay, that's what he's bringing up.
I mean, he's right.
Yeah.
They did it. They're
going to bring it back?
Well, they're doing it with the bus.
Yeah.
They're doing it with the bus right now.
That's true. The bus is coming back.
They're doing the EV old school bus.
Yep.
Well, let's say 5 years they do the EV Beetle.
Boom, Beetle's back.
Exactly.
They probably already got the marketing plan.
I'm sure it's already in the works, or at least they've thought about it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. All right. Come on, Marty. All right, that was Marty on Facebook. Again, as we go through Read 'em and Weep, reading the comments and questions that you leave for us across these many platforms. John Daryl Ocampo. He sounds like he's some kind of musician, a touring.
Yeah.
Like actually brings his acoustic guitar.
It's a very
into bars
prestigious
and
name.
plays,
I like that.
Though even when nobody wants him to play, they'll still play. A lot of judgment there, John Daryl. You didn't deserve that. Regarding new Sony WF
Coming out hot.
1000 XM3 versus Apple AirPods, Sony Sound tramples AirPods. Thank you for always making these comparison videos for the newest headphones that are coming out. Digital Trends has become my go-to site for all my research. John Daryl, I hope my comment did not take that away from you. I'm sorry about that.
You had to stomp on a man that was giving us a compliment.
I didn't even read the comment. I wasn't stomping. I did a little bit. And John Daryl, that is my bad. I apologize for that. I was a little bit surly from some of the earlier Read 'em and Weep comments. John Daryl, I'm talking directly to you. My bad. Thank you for watching these videos. You can leave me a comment if you'd like. I understand if you want to. All right.
That was perfect.
Instant apologies. That's what you get when you're live. All right. Let's continue on here. Talk about some more leaks and rumors. Every day it feels like somebody has leaked some kind of an image of a phone. It's been going crazy over the last couple of weeks. It's phone leaking season. And this one is for the Samsung Note 10 Plus. But it sounds like this may actually be some real pictures. Now, we know it's going to be launching, I think it's August. I can't remember the exact date, but in August when Samsung's going to have its Unpacked event. And this is two different people sending out these pictures. So you had Roland Quant of WinFuture and Sean Argwal, who both have been pretty accurate in some of their stuff that they've leaked out before. And these are pictures of the Note 10 Plus that we have. So the Note 10 Plus of what ostensibly they could look like. That's not too far off of what the ones that we've seen before, but these are supposed to be the official press photos.
Yeah.
So good. I will say that color scheme right there, something interesting about that, and so that's just the water stamp over it. But looking at that color scheme, I like it, but it's also really close to Huawei's.
Yeah.
So they
it totally is.
Took a little bit of what
I forgot
Huawei's
about
doing
that.
Yeah. And like, oh, well, you can't come to the U.S. So it does look very similar to it. If that's what it ends up being, I'm gonna expect that there's gonna be a few more colors than that. I like that color scheme. Personally, not that not to get away from any of the actual working of the phone. Not that I'm going to pay for the color, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, no. If I had to pick a phone color besides black or silver, I'd probably go with blue.
Yeah,
I'm a big blue guy.
Taking a look here in the live chat too, as there's questions coming through. Again, you can ask these live. Jay just asked, did I miss the combo on Google Home? We did. We talked about that at the beginning, but we've got a great article at Digital Trends, and if you go to digitaltrends.com/live, you can take a look there and catch up on all of that. But yeah, this is what the latest one is, what the latest leak is when it comes to Samsung. So Samsung, the Galaxy Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus, both of which are supposed to be coming out in August. That's what we think they might look like. And I think they're going to be nice phones, but the bigger picture, why are all these companies having so many leaks? That's what's always interesting.
It's not so many companies. It's mostly Samsung.
You're right. Samsung.
Like we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
like Apple
true.
doesn't have leaks. Like they have very few in the history of them releasing new products.
Yeah.
Samsung, every single time they're about to release a new product,
something gets out.
At least one leak comes out.
That's true. They did it with even the Fold.
Yeah, everything.
A lot of that. Yeah, I mean, I suppose with a company that big and all these third-party contractors they probably work with, it's difficult. But at the same time, man.
It's like other
put
places
that on lockdown.
Don't do it.
Unless they're doing it on purpose and they just want to keep people talking about it, which
I think they are.
Success.
I think they are.
They worked out. Well, that's the latest rumor there for the Samsung Galaxy Note 10, Note 10 Plus.
One more thing.
Yes.
On the Note, one of the things that it's supposed to have is the stylus pen is actually supposed to have a camera on it.
Oh.
Which I think is really cool.
That's cool. Feels a little.
It feels like something like it would have been in Mission Impossible or James Bond. It's just like I was like, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Now I'm gonna see you with one of these in the office, just sitting there.
Riley, what are you doing? Don't worry about it.
I'm good, bro. Get out of my way. So I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like Spy.
I like that. Yeah. All right. That's a cool feature. Well, we'll find out more about it. You can read up to. We've got a whole article just kind of showcasing what we think it's going to have. And you can let us know what you think, what you would like, all their Digital Trends. We got a couple more things here to talk about at the top of the show. This So this is a new ad that has gone out in the New York Times, and I believe it just went out today, with Google and Netflix teaming up for a Stranger Things 3 ad. Like, we haven't had enough ads for Stranger Things 3. In case you were aware, it's out on Netflix, and it's great.
It is.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I binge watched the whole thing in like one day. So this is an AR ad that's out right now, where if you hold up your phone, so it's a print ad, you hold up your phone to it, you use Google Lens, and it will show up with this and have all these different features that'll show up on the ad.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's an ad within an ad, which I think is kind of fun.
An ad within an ad, yeah.
It's like Adception. But, everyone loves Stranger Things. Like, I have found very few people who have not liked that show. Mm-hmm. And the marketing they've done with it, too, has been really cool and interesting and creative, I think, as well.
Yeah. And Netflix is really positioning it. I was reading another article about it, not to get away from that ad, which I do think augmented reality ads are really good.
Yeah.
I think that's a great use. I mean, at least it's something different in utilizing that, where you have to put it up to it to see it, but I think that's pretty fun. But Netflix is trying to position Stranger Things to be their billion-dollar enterprise, their Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're on their way.
Yeah, I think it is. Like, can you think of any other Netflix original that is like more popular? I can't.
Not right now.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, like House of Cards was, Orange is the New Black.
I forgot about House of Cards.
Yeah. Orange is the New Black
those are
huge.
good. Yeah, those are good ones.
But I don't think either of them were as big as Stranger Things.
No, Stranger Things is massive.
Yeah, and it can appeal to so many different people.
Yeah, no, it really, because like it's a kid's show, but it's not a kid's show.
Right.
Like, it's very interesting. And
Yeah.
the last season is.
The last season's great. No spoilers. We're not going to give any.
Yeah.
I think the only way, though, they can keep that going to be that billion-dollar enterprise, they got to put the seasons out quicker. These kids are going to be like 30 years old by the time they're done with this.
Yeah.
It's not going to really work quite the same.
Yeah, what was it? Mike, he's starting to like hit puberty, and his voice is very different than like in prior seasons. That's tough. That's tough for like a kid to go through that, like in the limelight and spotlight.
Well,
like, I mean, it was tough for me, and I'm just like a normal guy. Like, woof, that's tough.
That's tough, but I think in the long run he's going to be okay.
Oh yeah,
he's fine.
I
don't feel too bad for him. But that's what's going on with that. So you can check that out it's actually the print New York Times with the Google AR ad that you hold over that, and it lights up. I want to see more of that stuff. I think that stuff's pretty fun.
They're engaging ads.
Yeah, exactly.
They're much more engaging than something you see on like the side of a website or whatever. Like, you have to want to see it.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, Burger King did one where I think it was, you held it up to McDonald's signs, if I remember correctly, and it would set them on fire.
That's hilarious.
That's pretty funny.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that's some funny uses of that technology. Let's see. Hey, Google, please do not record me using your Google Lens. Let the third-party vendor know about it. You're the best. Thank you, George. That is hilarious.
Oh, George.
Oh, George. So there we go. That is the Stranger Things 3 ad. Last thing I wanted to bring up was this. It has to do with the continuing space race between Virgin Galactic, we have SpaceX, and we have Blue Origin. Those are three of the big players anyway. And they're all kind of racing to be able to launch satellites easily and for less money, and then also to get people into space. And so this is a big step that Virgin Orbit, which is a spin-off of Virgin Galactic, a subsidiary, did just earlier this week. And it was using a Boeing 747, which they call Cosmic Girl. I don't know why. So it's called Cosmic Girl anyway. And the idea behind this is you take the 747 way up high, and then you launch from there and get into space. So you don't have to have that tremendous force to get it up, that 50,000 feet, however high up, 35,000 feet that this thing goes up. So it makes it, in theory, cheaper.
Yeah, because I mean, it's much cheaper to launch a plane than launch a rocket from the ground.
Yes, and the air is much thinner. There's less, friction right there that you can actually get it up into space. And so this was their test of it, and they launched that rocket. They didn't actually put this one into space. They wanted to just see if it would work first. They said everything went off very well, and that now they're going to actually test it, setting up a satellite. But this is also how, in theory, how they want to send people into space.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Well, if like someone wanted to take me up to space, I would let them in a heartbeat. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if I'd personally pay for it, because
right.
I think last time there was a story out like this, it was like $90,000 was the estimate, and I was like, obviously I don't have that kind of money to go up to space. But yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think the coolest thing about this specific like way of them putting satellites and people into space is it's a lot less harsh on the environment.
Yeah.
Because we have that space tourism series or article coming out soon, and it talks about how bad these like rocket launches are for the environment.
Yeah.
And so, if we need to be sending all these satellites into space, let's try to do it as environmentally friendly as possible.
Yeah.
And this seems like it's that.
Seems like it might be a better way.
Yeah.
Well, that's that, and that's again, this is what they're trying, what Virgin Galactic is doing, Virgin Orbit, and their attempts at that, and they're to start off with the satellite side of things because that way they can make money and then actually get some more space tourism going. Because the more money they make, the cheaper the space tourism flights will be.
Yeah, if it goes down to like $1,000, yeah, I'm doing that.
$1,000 I'm in too. Yeah, I'll make you that same deal. I'm in with that. Well, that's the news on that. You can follow up at digitaltrends.com. Let us know what you think about that. Would you go up in a Virgin Galactic rocket and go to space? All right, Riley, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Always fun, and we have more coming up for you. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to take a break, and then from Rekor Systems, we have the Chief Science Officer, Matt Hill, who's going to be joining us here on Digital Trends Live to talk about using artificial intelligence to analyze video. And some of the different ways that they're utilizing that, which is it's pretty fascinating. They're teaming up with a lot of companies to do that, and also just the term Chief Science Officer.
It's amazing.
That's a pretty great title. You got to admit. So Matt's going to be joining us. We've got lots coming up for you today, as usual, broadcasting live on all these platforms. Drop in your comments, your questions. Let us know what you think. We'll be back here in just a couple of minutes with more Digital Trends Live. Welcoming back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We always appreciate it when you watch live. We're on a number of different platforms. I do want to emphasize we're also at digitaltrends.com/live, another place where you can join us and have these discussions about technology. And right now, we're going to talk about some cutting-edge technology, absolutely, and that is going to be about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is something that I think we see it being put into so many different platforms right now. We see it being utilized in a lot of different ways. And actually, one other thing to emphasize is that last week we had our Trends with Benefits podcast, which Trends with Benefits is our weekly roundtable tech podcast here at Digital Trends, where we kind of go in depth on some of these topics. During DT Live, we get to do 10 minutes. The Trends with Benefits show, where we actually have 4 different people, we kind of go a little more in depth. And so I highly suggest wherever you listen to podcasts to go to your service, find Trends with Benefits. And our last episode, our latest one, was called AI or BS, where we just kind of go through artificial intelligence and what actually is artificial intelligence and what isn't. It was a fun episode, and you can go there and check that out. Again, wherever you get podcasts, Trends with Benefits. All right, we're broadcasting live here on Digital Trends, and again, thank you everybody for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler. Let's talk about some cutting-edge technology right now. From Rekor Systems, we have Matt Hill, who is the Chief Science Officer. Hello, Matt.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. First off, love that title. That is like that's got to be the coolest thing ever to tell people what you do.
Yeah. Well, there was a chief technology officer already. So when they acquired my company, I got chief science officer, which I love as well. I think it's a great title.
It's got to be fun to introduce yourself as that. But let's talk about what your company does, and then let's get into talking about some artificial intelligence. Can we give everybody just a little bit of a backstory on what you do?
Sure. So what Rekor does is it takes video data, so video data from any camera. We have our own cameras. We also can use commodity IP cameras, and we identify license plates and vehicles in the video. So it's something that license plate recognition has been around for a long time, but what Rekor does differently, it uses AI and machine learning to do it at a very low cost and with extremely high accuracy.
I think that's interesting that you said it's pretty much any video feed.
Yeah, that's right. So these traditional cameras have been around for 15, 20 years, but they require specialized optics, specialized cameras. They're zoomed into a particular lane, and they're extremely expensive. So we found that most places don't really use many license plate cameras, even though it's been around for a while. But what our software does is makes it so low cost and so effective that we're seeing just a huge increase in the usage of this technology.
So let's talk about the technology first, and then I want to talk about the use cases. So what were you able to do that makes it, I guess, cost efficient for companies to get into this? Because like you said, normally that used to be a kind of expensive technology to utilize. What has changed in the landscape that's made you able to do this?
Well, it's the AI. So the fact that we can just pull normal video, like what a human would see, not special infrared images, not special types of video, just a normal video feed of cars passing. And we can tell you the license plate number, just like a human would when they write it down on a piece of paper. We can tell you the make, model, the color, the body type. So we can infer a lot of information just right from the screen. So yeah, exactly. Like that video you're pulling up, this is just a normal, I think that's a web camera. Somebody's driving through a parking lot, and it understands where the license plates are, and it's able to pick them out and pull out the numbers. So that's, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, so it takes ordinary cameras and, for lack of a better word, makes them smart cameras.
Exactly. So that's why the cost has come down so much, is because we don't need specialized cameras or specialized optics. Just any normal IP camera, any normal commodity camera can turn itself into a highly intelligent license plate recognition and vehicle recognition camera.
So going from there, talking about license plate recognition, what are some of the use cases? Where are you seeing it being utilized at right now?
Well, so when I got started, I actually thought that the majority of the use would be law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And we see that a lot, but it's been surprising to me. There's been so many use cases outside of law enforcement for automation. Things like brand loyalty at car washes, automation in parking lots, opening up gates and things like that. HOAs, being able to know that a person who's authorized is coming onto the property. Even things like drive-throughs. You can imagine people drive up to the drive-through and remembering what you ordered last time, so that they can offer you a coupon or remind you, or, things like that. Improving the user experience.
I love that use for a lot of them. I don't want the drive-through that I go to recognizing. I don't want that shame. But otherwise, definitely I can see that some great uses of it. So now that you can do this, what are some things that you think people should know about when it comes to this? I know in particular there's one of the things called Move Over. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? What that is?
Yeah, that's right. So license plate recognition is one part of it, but the other thing that this Rekor is doing is using the technology to be able to change behavior on the road. So there's two things that we see is commonly done today, but is not really being enforced. One of them is school bus stop arms. So we see people are driving past school buses and endangering children. Driving past quickly, and it's a pretty big problem. We see the number of people that drive past you wouldn't believe it. The number of people that drive past a stop arm when it's exposed and children are crossing the street. It's actually quite surprising, because people are in a hurry and they just maybe they don't care. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, so being able to enforce that and say that this car drove past this stop arm, that's something that is pretty important. The other thing is the move over laws. Rekor is the first company that has a device that can enforce people flying past a police officer on the side of the road or flying past a tow truck driver. Right now, they don't really enforce it. It's a law on the books, but unfortunately, people are just going 80 miles an hour, within a foot from a police officer, and police officers are dying every day. and tow truck drivers are being killed. So even just being able to issue a warning and say, please change your behavior because it's not safe. That's something that, in addition to grabbing license plates, this AI machine learning is also able to be used to enforce that kind of activity. So that's what Rekor, among other things, it's some of the products that Rekor has.
Interesting. Where are you seeing it being applied right now? How far? What's the usage rate, at least as far as where you're at right now?
Well, so for license plate recognition, it's pretty impressive that when we talk to, for law enforcement, for example, we talk to a police department. They usually say there's only 5, maybe 10 cameras that they're currently using, and with our cost model, it's so inexpensive that we see those same cities could support hundreds, or thousands. We had one city that had no license plate recognition at all, and but they had street cameras. They had cameras that were pointed over traffic lights. So they used our software to just turn those into license plate cameras. And it's been amazing, the drop in crime rates, a noticeable drop in crime rates. They're able to pull people over who are on, who are wanted criminals who committed crimes. And within, they drive past a checkpoint, and rather than them waiting to commit the next crime, they have them and they pull them over and arrest them.
It's something that, like you said, utilizing artificial intelligence there's no way you'd have enough people to ever be able to do that, to do something like that.
Exactly. It's like having a person at every street corner just writing down the plate numbers and matching it against a huge list of people that have committed violent crimes.
How is this translated into savings, like cost-wise? I see one of our questions came through. George said, so municipalities could benefit by saving on the hardware costs. I'm sure this saves a lot of money. How is that translating through?
Oh, absolutely. That's probably the biggest benefit, I think, is the fact that they can use existing cameras or they can use low-cost cameras to do this. Just to give you an example, one customer was quoted $20,000 for one camera to watch a single lane of traffic, which is extraordinarily expensive, I think. Whereas our cost model is much lower. We charge $300 a year per camera. So it's
wow.
In terms of they can put these things in a lot of different places, and they can just cast a wider net to be able to make the city safer if they're using it for law enforcement. Yeah,
that's a lot cheaper. Where do you see this going in the near, say, 5 years?
Well, I think you're going to see artificial intelligence being used on all kinds of devices, not just for license plates, but people will use it for pedestrian detection and automating a lot of things situations that might be unsafe today. But license plate recognition, I think it's going to be so much more common in the next few years. We don't really see it that much today, just because even though it's been around for a while, it's just so expensive and it hasn't been accurate enough. But now with this new technology, it's going to be fairly common, I think.
Well, if a company's out there and they want to utilize, or a city and they want to utilize Rekor, how do they get into it?
Well, so that's another thing that we just make it open. We make it easy they can sign up themselves. They can put in a credit card, and in 20 minutes they can start capturing vehicle and plate data. Wow.
So they would just send their video feed to you, you capture that, and then send it back to them.
Yeah. So that's what we're seeing. Car washes and corporate parking lots. This is the kind of stuff they're doing. They're basically just signing up themselves. They're saying that, hey, this works. It's affordable. We can use this for our security system or whatever they want to integrate it with, and that's it. So we really haven't done much advertising or marketing to this date, and it's just been growing organically.
Wow.
Just people are trying it out and saying they like it.
Well, it sounds really impressive. I'm impressed with the AI aspect of it, and just to see where this ends up going, just because it's advancing so quickly.
Yeah.
And where it's going to end up.
Yeah, on the software side, I actually started the project before, a lot of this AI stuff was coming out, and then we kind of transitioned into it, and the difference is incredible. Just in terms of accuracy rates, when we originally started building the software, it was something like 60% accurate, and today we're at 99, a little over 99%. So you can just it's so much better than what's out there. It's amazing how good that AI technology is.
Wow. Well, Matt, I want to say thank you very much for joining us here on Digital Trends.
You're welcome.
To talk about this. It's always exciting talking about where AI is going, and in particular, what Rekor is doing, and hearing about companies like yours. Matt, thanks for being here on Digital Trends Live.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, so talking about artificial intelligence and the way it's being utilized, that's definitely an interesting way to see it in those different use cases, in particular of license plates and how it can be utilized. So fascinating stuff. We've got lots more conversation, though, coming up, because in case you didn't know, coming up on Monday, it's Prime Day. Prime Day is happening. It's going to be actually 2 days this year, so it's Prime Days. But Prime Day coming up, and we have tons of coverage for you for that, in particular to help you find the good deals. And right now, we're going to be joined by Caleb Dennison after this break to kind of walk through his deals, what you should do or what you should prepare for in particular, because I guess we don't know all the deals yet. That's why they're out there scouring the internet for you. But we're going to take a break. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. And welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you for joining us here. We love it when everybody joins in with these discussions that we have. And again, in case you didn't know, Prime Day is coming up. We know here, that's for sure, but Prime Day is coming up on July 15th. It's Monday, and we have lots of coverage for you at Digital Trends, and we have somebody who's been covering a lot of this for us right now. I'm Greg Nibbler, joined by Caleb Dennison.
Good morning, Greg. How's
Good morning. Doing well. Let's talk about Prime Day.
We're laughing because Prime Day is kind of a hardcore event around here.
Yeah, if you're involved in anywhere in the, especially technology, or websites, online publications, Prime Day's huge.
Yeah, it's almost as big as like the holiday season.
Yeah.
You know, your Cyber Monday, Black Friday, it just happens in a different part of the year, but we all behave the same way around it. It's an absolutely massive sale. There's a lot of great stuff to get. There's a lot of anticipation built up around it. And, you know, it starts at midnight on Monday, I believe. I think it's midnight Pacific time. So I imagine, you know, some people, you know, who go and stand in lines, you know, for Black Friday might be sitting by their computer early in the morning, just
hovering over,
waiting to press the buy button on some product that is going to go on sale.
So to get prepared for Prime Day, for people out there, like what should you anticipate? What should you expect? Should you have to be there, you know, at midnight when it goes out 3 a.m. Eastern, or will there be deals throughout the whole time?
I don't think you have to be up at the, you know, crack of dawn ready to press the buy button. I think Amazon's going to be pretty well stocked and supplied for this. I mean, they're running it for 2 days, so you know that they've done a little extra preparation. I don't know what it's going to look like on Tuesday, but I do know that that Monday things should be well supplied. I'd get up in the morning, you know, if there's something specific that you're looking to get, like a TV, a bigger purchase type of deal, I'd go ahead and, you know, get up in the morning and maybe hit the laptop or your desktop computer, whatever, your phone, and take a look at what's happening. I would suggest coming to digitaltrends.com right off the bat, because we're going to have a list of all the best deals. Like, you'll get lost if you go to Amazon, in my opinion. So come to digitaltrends.com. We've been getting ready for this for weeks, and we're going to have the complete list of all the very best stuff. We're just going to cull out all the garbage that nobody really cares about and put all the best TVs in one place and all the best laptops in one place, you know, mobile accessories. Doesn't matter what you're looking for, we'll have it all lined up.
And we'll also be doing a live broadcast for, I think, from 9 a.m. Pacific to like 1 p.m. Pacific, so like 4 hours, where we'll be covering specific deals as well. But leading up to it, like, what products are generally good to buy?
Well, I think that TVs have been getting to be a better and better buy just by nature throughout the year. You've got companies like TCL that are making outstanding quality Roku TVs for like pennies. on the dollar compared to what TVs used to cost. So they're already a good deal. But I always say there's 3 times a year that you want to look to buy a TV. Prime Day is definitely one of them. Black Friday, Cyber Monday to a certain extent. And then really just in March or April as the old stock sort of dwindles out and the new stuff starts rolling in. This is a really interesting time of year because what we're going to see is new TVs, 2019 TVs, being discounted heavily for the first time of the year, and probably won't see deals like this for another several months. So if now feels like a time to buy a TV, I would highly encourage you, again, come to digitaltrends.com and take a look at my list. I'm picking the TVs myself.
Yeah.
I will put the best ones out there. You know, I know what these things normally cost. I know what the quality of the television is like. So I'm not going to put a bunch of garbage up there. I'm just going to suggest the best options. And then as, you know, the best stuff starts disappearing, I'll take it off the list and then we'll replace it with more good stuff, you know, and we'll just kind of keep feeding it throughout the time. But TV's definitely a big one. I think it's a big ticket purchase and something that people kind of plan out.
Right. You're like, I'm ready for a new TV, but I want to wait.
Exactly. I think the other big category that we should talk about right now is smart home stuff, right? People are getting more and more into this, and I credit Amazon's Alexa for the popularity of a lot of smart home stuff because really until, fun fact, Philips Hue bulbs, you know, the smart light bulbs, they weren't selling all that great until Amazon came out with the Echo speaker, and all of a sudden, Philips Hue light sailed just, I mean, way up. So Amazon's Echo speaker and the Alexa integration, I don't like to say the name too
Right.
because I'm setting off speakers all over the place.
I did it already earlier today,
well,
so-
there you go.
Yep.
Then. You know, people enjoy the voice interaction, and it's easier to control the devices. And so when you're talking about smart thermostat, would be a really good call, especially in the summer heat. Or if you're looking for a smart plug for your air conditioner, or there are devices that'll actually turn your air conditioner on and off based on times of the day or temperature in the room or whatever. Smart lights, like we talked about before. Maybe you haven't gotten one of these smart speakers yet. I guarantee you, Echo speakers will be heavily discounted.
Oh, yeah.
And so will Amazon Fire TV products. So if you need something to stream your Netflix or your Amazon Prime Video or Hulu or whatever, those are also going to be really inexpensive. But again, we're going to have a whole page of like the best smart home devices at the best prices. And you know, they may have something that you didn't even know you needed.
Right.
and,
Yeah.
And I think that there's going to be quite a bit of that going on as well.
And that's something that I have a problem with, is just being like, I didn't really want this, but okay, click. And I'll
Yeah,
buy it.
exactly.
You know,
and that's
that impulse.
That's okay. An impulse buy is fine. Like, just don't go absolutely crazy. One of the things that I warn people against, like, watch out for the kitchen gadgets, okay? There are so many fun-looking kitchen gadgets, especially if you're into kitchen gadgets in the first place. But like, they hook you with this idea that, oh my gosh, you know, I
have to have that.
I've always wanted to juice cucumbers, and now there's this purpose-built cucumber-shaped juicer that I absolutely must have. That's a bad idea, you guys.
Yeah.
That's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
You know it's a bad idea because I just made it up. But I mean, there's a whole
But
bunch.
I'm already thinking, gosh, the uses I could have for crushed up
I
cucumber.
know. Watch out for monotaskers. That's a term that comes from Alton Brown from the Food Network that I always thought was a really good point. A device that only does one very specific thing that you're only going to do every once in a while is just going to take up a bunch of space in your kitchen, and you probably don't have that much space to begin with.
Right.
You don't want to start tossing more stuff in there. Look, you already got an Instant Pot, right? And if you didn't, that's a good thing to get at Prime Day
So
too.
that would be a good one. Multi-use.
Instant Pot does so much different stuff. You can you can probably get rid of your crock pot and just have your Instant Pot.
Okay.
I keep both. But the fact of the matter is there are kitchen gadgets out there that are just going to take up space. You don't need them. So hold yourself back a little bit. You know, we're not saying go buy everything. We're just saying buy smart.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah.
So buy something that's multitask.
Yeah.
Multi-use. So this is all different advice, you know, that we have for Prime Day, which is, again, it's coming up on Monday. So July 15th, that's when this all kicks off, and we'll have tons of coverage for you to follow along with right there.
The whole internet is going to be about Prime Day when Prime Day happens.
It will be.
And look, there's the cucumber juicer. Did you see that?
Well, I think we're going to pull it up here.
I think
Spoiler.
I think this thing that I thought I just made up might actually exist.
It might actually exist. Yeah, or you just created a whole product line because now everybody wants a cucumber juicer that they didn't know before. Well, so again, we'll be broadcasting live on Monday and bringing you 4 hours coverage. There we go. We've got
See, that's look.
Mike and Kelsey were on it.
They're
Jake
shiny.
and Kim,
They're shiny. I want them.
There it is. Yeah, cucumber juicer. Or
Yeah,
cucumber water.
Is it a peeler
maker?
or
Yeah.
like an infuser? Whatever. Like you look, just be smart.
Sold.
There are two kinds of people who shop on Prime Day. There's the people who know they want a specific thing and they're going to go get it at a good price.
Yes.
And then there's the people who land there and just like, ooh, I kind of want that thing, and they just start clicking.
I need it.
This is how Amazon makes buckets and buckets of money every single year. This is how they get you.
I mean, it's the old infomercial style.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
my God, I had no idea I needed that.
Yeah, it's like Ron Popeil pushing, a cucumber juicer right at your face.
How if I lived my life without that?
Exactly.
Well, Caleb, the entire editorial staff is going to be following along with Prime Day, bringing you the best deals. Like we said, emphasizing again, go to digitaltrends.com. Go there right now. You can take a look at some of the pre-Prime Day deals, some different suggestions and things to do, but follow along as soon as it kicks in.
Yeah, and while Prime Day is happening, that morning we'll be live from our AV room, and I'll be talking to you live about the best TVs out there. And because I usually recommend a soundbar purchase along with the TV, unless you already have a big speaker system, soundbars. We'll be talking about the best soundbars that you can get, which ones sound really good, and which ones are coming through for a really good price.
Yeah, all of that live on Monday. And we're live right now, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Caleb.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great advice, and we have lots coming up for you here for Digital Trends Live. I thank everybody who's joining us. We're going to talk about some more artificial intelligence here coming up, though. We have Sean Chu, the CEO of Catalytic, who's going to join us talking about the differences between automotion and AI. What are the differences there? And actually, we discussed that on our Trends with Benefits podcast a little bit too last week. So it's going to be a fascinating discussion. And this is when, if you have questions, drop those in there right now. We're broadcasting live. We'll be back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. This is Digital Trends Live, and thank you for joining us. Whatever platform you're on, hit that subscribe button. That way you get the notifications when we do go live. But I also want to emphasize we're also at digitaltrends.com/live, and you can chat and join in the conversations there as well. And conversations are fun to have here at Digital Trends. This is what we enjoy doing with this show. I'm Greg Nibbler, and we're going to have a conversation about a lot of different things right now. But in particular, talking about artificial intelligence, we have the CEO of Catalytic. It is Sean Chu. Hello.
Hey, how are you, Greg?
Doing great. Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Excited to talk about artificial intelligence, AI, the differences between that and automation, and everything that goes along with these conversations. But let's get everybody maybe a little bit of your background and some background of Catalytic and what you do.
Sure. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders for Catalytic. So Catalytic is a company that helps large companies primarily, but also increasingly mid-market companies automate more of their processes. So we focus a lot around knowledge workers, automating administrative types of tasks, the drudgery, the mundane types of clerical things that people really don't want to be doing. Prior to Catalytic, I had helped start a company called Fieldglass back in 2000, which helped large companies with all of their non-employed workers and the supply chain associated with that, which we grew very successfully and sold to SAP in 2014.
Nice. So you have a lot of history in this kind of field and helping out these kind of, different companies on changing the way that they do things and utilizing new technology. There's one thing, though, in particular that I want to bring up here to start off, and it's that question of what counts as automation, what counts as artificial intelligence. And I feel like for everybody, even people in the tech industry, that's still a bit, there's a bit of confusion there on where that line is and what counts as what. Can you walk us through your definition of those two?
Yeah, I think it is a blurry line, and I think part of it is because people are using it as convenience. So AI is topical, and people like to shove AI in as a label sometimes where it doesn't really belong. So I think there's two ways in which we can look at the difference between automation and AI. On one hand, and this kind of represents the state of today, AI is, you can think of as essentially smart. It should be able to deal with fuzzy concepts. It should be able to deal with uncertainty. It should be able to react to a changing environment, whereas automation still mostly is in the state of stupid, right? It's basically like rules-based, it's mechanical stuff, it's stuff that can be simplified and really made straightforward. Think of it as rules versus something that's operating without any sort of rules. And that's today. But I think the other way to look at it, and the reason why it gets blurred, is because increasingly these are really becoming technologies that impact each other. So automation is getting more AI injected into it with the intent of being able to automate ever greater numbers of tasks, being able to automate things like more simple decision making or building more resilient types of automation. And likewise, AI, one of the most practical applications of AI is automation. So AI, as a broad category of technologies, looking for different practical applications. Automation is among the most useful of them. And that's why I think you hear about them being so intermingled, even though they are very different types of concepts in many ways.
It feels to me like if you just look at automation as just itself, it's kind of a linear task. It's, pick this up here and put this here. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then AI would be able to make decisions and be like, well, no, I want to go over here, or I want to do this, and start making more decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about humans, if I'm given a task of take this from here and move it over there, and something intervenes, a person comes in or disrupts me, I'm not phased as a human. And so I think a lot of using AI within automation is building more resilient types of automation.
Why do you think it's important for both employees of companies like what you work for and consumers to understand this?
I think it's important because one, they should understand the current state of automation and how to really leverage it as something that will improve their workplace. We're big believers that automation is something that should be accessible and available to everyone. A big part of our platform and our vision is taking this technology that I think is really often considered as a techie type of technology, making it available for the average person. We think of it as like the Excel of automation. Right now, that's important from a current state of automation. I think it's also important for people to know what AI is, because it's going to really change the world. It's going to revolutionize all sorts of things. Automation just among one of many different things, and it's also scary sounding. So I think it's actually important for people to understand these two things, because one is totally not scary. It should be something very liberating. The other is also not scary if you really understand it, but it sounds a lot more scary.
Right. There's that, I think, residual just sci-fi feeling that we all get when you hear AI. It's like, they're taking over. But there is that...
Lots of Skynet references.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There is, something, though, that's kind of a prevalent right now, and that's the thought that AI or robots or automation is going to take jobs away. And I know that that's an actual concern. Should that be a legitimate concern of people?
We don't really think of it, nor do we see it as taking a lot of jobs away. It takes a lot of tasks away, and sometimes that translates into jobs, but more often than not, it translates into transforming of jobs. If you just think about the evolution of technology in general, even starting with very physical technology, like a stone mill making it a lot easier to create wheat, or that evolution. People generally like what technology does. It frees them up to do more meaningful work. And I think we're still seeing that trend. So automation is in many ways the knowledge worker equivalent of what happened with factories when they were starting to undergo robotics. It's not that people were suddenly massively unemployed, but jobs changed a lot. So within the factory today, it's very different types of workers, but brand new categories of jobs are created as a result. So now there are all these robotics workers. And I think with automation, you're going to see the same sort of thing. Who's going to train the automation? Who's going to maintain it? How will people start shifting from doing work that is mostly, we've seen stats where like 50% of people's workday is mostly spent inside of Excel and Word documents and emails and all these things we'd rather not be doing. And such a small percentage of spent on creative work or on work with other people. We'd rather see a shift, and we think that automation will create that, and it'll enable that. It'll make a shift where people will have increasingly more meaningful work and as knowledge workers.
What should people be doing to prepare for this? Since I guess it's a little hard to prepare in some aspects because the technology changes so quickly. But what in general should maybe companies or individuals be doing?
I think I've heard this really cool concept being talked about a lot called digital quotient, or sometimes robotics quotient, but I think digital quotient is a little bit better. And it's in many ways the next step of IQ, EQ, emotional quotient, and digital quotient. And I think for a lot of people, trying to understand where they are with their digital quotient and increasing that, I think will be actually really helpful. Not because you want to do more robotic work, right? We don't want people to be doing bot work. What we want is for people to understand how bots operate and for people to be able to actually leverage them on their behalf. And that's really the heart of digital quotient is, are you actually understanding how technology can be used to augment yourself instead of resisting technology? So a lot of it in terms of preparation is understanding, awareness, and then of course building up your core skills, which AI is not going to be touching anytime soon. Like I know people vary in their scale, in their belief of how much AI will be available when. And I don't think we're going to see really strong general purpose AI replacing creative work anytime soon. You'll see it in select areas, like we've all seen the image creation capabilities, or we've seen AI generating movie scripts and stories and stuff like that. I mean, first of all, they're still horrible.
Yeah.
But even they're horrible.
Yeah.
But even when they're better, they're still going to be lacking a spark. I mean, AI is still mostly about recomposition of data that's already been done. And so I think you need two humans for a long time still will be like genuine creation, right? And being able to synthesize things to create something brand new instead of just synthesizing and mashing things up and making them seem like they actually flow better together, which is really the state of AI today.
Well, it's definitely just a fascinating piece of technology and where it's all going, but it sounds like, we're not ready for Skynet quite yet, so no need to panic. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us here too on Digital Trends just to talk about this. Really insightful, really great information. And for people who want to know more about Catalytic, what's the best way for them?
Come to our website, catalytic.com. We're always happy to take any sort of questions. We love talking about AI. We love talking about automation. We think that both will really change the world a lot in the next 5 years.
I agree completely, and certainly Catalytic will be at the front of that. Well, Sean, thank you very much for being here on Digital Trends Live with us.
All right, thank you.
So definitely some things to think about there when it comes to artificial intelligence and whether we should prepare or be terrified that Skynet's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen for a little while. So I think we'll be okay, but different ways it's going to change how we interact with our world and do our jobs. Certainly that is something that we should all be thinking about. And there's lots of research you can do at digitaltrends.com about that. And we do lots of research on the news of technology. And we've got some more coming up for you right after this. So we're going to take a break. We've got Matt Katz who's going to come in. We're going to talk about some space news that's happened. He's going to catch us up on some other news, lots of things to discuss, lots of fun to be had. Drop in your conversations here as we go through. Back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you for joining us. We are live here every weekday with you, and we thank you for being a part of that. We're on a number of different platforms, so we can take your comments and questions as we go through, and I highly encourage you to do that because we do read them, and we will respond directly to you. Whatever it is you say, I'll respond to you. Welcome now to the show. I'm Greg Dubler here with Matt Katz. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
This is a little bit of a different segment. It says usually you're filling me in on news, but now I've got some things that I wanted to fill you in on a little bit.
Man.
We're going to go back and forth here. We're going to talk about some different things that happened. First off, and these are some stories that we've been covering here at Digital Trends and actually have been trending today, but a little bit of space news to begin with here, and this has to do with the Japanese Space Agency and what they have been doing. And in particular, this is something that already happened where they sent this probe, the Hayabusa 2 probe, to this asteroid.
Okay.
And they actually landed it on the asteroid. So this happened earlier this year. It took about 3.5 years to get there. It's a pretty amazing accomplishment. It's the first time this has really happened like this. And there's their demonstration of it as this satellite circles and orbits this asteroid. This is what they did back in April, though. They sent essentially a bomb down onto the surface of an asteroid. Doesn't sound like the best idea. When you just say it like that, it sounds like at the start of Armageddon 2. And it's not going to be a good result.
But at the same time, I think people want to mine asteroids for
True.
metal and all sorts of other crazy space materials, is my guess.
Yep.
So that explosion is probably a good test of whether or not you can actually do that.
Whether or not you can mine it. And we've actually done some studies about this before, just that there's so much material out there on some of these asteroids and comets that it could devastate the world economy because there's so much metals out there. But this in particular, what they wanted to do is just kind of test it and get a sample from below the surface. So this probe has landed once before, it's doing it again. And since they were able to pierce it by blowing up a hole in it, they were able to grab some of the internal pieces of the asteroid. And then it's going to be sending those back to Earth to study.
I'm going to say there's probably a 60% chance this asteroid piece is going to give someone superpowers.
Yes.
Probably.
Fair enough. 60%.
Movies have taught me anything, that's how it works.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a superhero pretty soon.
I would say there's a 60% chance of superheroes. I would give it a 35% chance that there's some kind of weird alien, thing that's on it that's going to come back here and infect us.
An alien doodah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So that leaves us 5% for science. So out of that, that's the story that is up there. You can check that out, digitaltrends.com. It's pretty amazing technological achievement, actually. So there's one. The other one is NASA has just released a video celebrating the discovery of the 4,000th exoplanet.
I saw they have a fun little video showing each and every one.
NASA is they're the masters, them and SpaceX both, of fantastic B-roll, so they get a lot of coverage. So this is actually from their one of their science outreach project called System Sounds, and they created this video just showcasing how incredible that is. This is in particular showcasing this one planet, but how incredible it is that they've been able to find all of these different planets, and a lot of it was done due to the now retired Kepler Space Telescope, which just retired, which is why, if you remember back in, it was about 2010 when this really started happening, where you just saw this like tons of news about, oh, another exoplanet, another exoplanet, another exoplanet.
Yeah.
Well, it's because of this telescope. And this is the video that they showcased, where they're showing, how, over this timeline and the circles of how much they started finding. And you kind of see it leading up, when they found the first one in the early 90s, it keeps going forward. And then, boom, because of the advent of this technology and this, these telescopes that are just so much more powerful and able to analyze things so much better, that it just exploded on what we've been able to find.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but an exoplanet is a planet that is outside of a solar system, or
You're
outside
correct.
of our solar system?
Outside of our solar system.
Okay.
That's, good point. So an exoplanet, and usually the way you find exoplanets is, so they take a look at a star, and you can, if you really closely analyze that star, you can tell when the light dips just a little bit, which means the planet's going around it, or if it wobbles on its axis, which means it's getting pulled one way or another. So it's a really complicated and really tedious way to find it, but with these telescopes, that's how they're able to do it.
And they've found 4,000 of them, which is pretty impressive.
4,000.
And I'm sure there's so many more.
Tons more, and that's what the new satellite that's up is called TESS. It's the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, and that went up last year, and so they're expecting that within the next 2 years they'll have about 20,000 exoplanets.
That's insane.
Yep, but it's all because that technology eventually rolls down to us too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So yeah,
We're going to be finding planets left and right in like 10 years.
left and right. All right, the last thing I want to tell Matt, and then Matt's got some coverage for us too, I believe, is this, Matt. Robots. The robots are happening.
Are they in disguise?
They're not in disguise. Oh, solid reference. It's this. We all know about Boston Dynamics, the Spot Minis.
Yes.
The dog-looking robots.
Yes.
We've seen the videos of them pulling cars, all kinds of things. So there's another company that's been working on their own dog robots.
Ooh.
And their company is called Anybotics, and their robot is called the Animal. Huh?
I got it. I got that
You
one.
get that? Yeah, okay.
It's a very dad joke.
It really is. I think it's a company run by dads, and they all barbecue and talk about robots. So this is theirs right there. It's a pretty incredible robot. So it's designed to cover all kinds of different terrain, like the Boston Dynamics robot. But in particular, their focus is really on helping out humans in specific jobs that are sometimes dangerous. They're actually deployed already. So Boston Dynamics robot is supposed to come out later this year. Where it can be deployed, theirs already is. So it's on an offshore power distribution platform in the North Sea, which is, normally it's windy, it's stormy, it's kind of dangerous for people to go around and check things. They send this guy out there. Look at that. See, you can go wading in the ocean, go swimming, go for a stroll with him, go hang out in the grass. So all kinds of different fun things you can do with
They're so adorable.
your Animal. And yeah, so that's the idea behind this. And they think that this is something that once it gets out there further, it can carry a payload right now weighing up to 10 kilos, can operate for up to 3 hours before it has to recharge. But they think that there's so many different industries that can utilize this, that it should be more widespread soon.
My worry is that they're going to develop some kind of intelligence.
Yes.
And we're going to start to feel really bad about putting them into dangerous situations. I already do.
Yeah.
And I've just
you're
seen
a robot
about 30
sympathizer.
seconds of videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But this is an incredible leap forward. I mean, robots are going to be able to do a ton of jobs that are currently dangerous for humans.
Exactly.
And that is, both good and bad, but it is getting people out of harm's way.
Exactly.
And as bad as I feel about the robots, they are not alive. So hopefully we can make some jobs safer using robots like these.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the important things there is it really, it'll help out humans in the end. And they also said, this company in particular, that they will not work with any militaries. So they're not going to work with any military contracts. They just want to stick with civilian and industrial contracts.
That's refreshing.
So that's what they're saying. So pick your side. I don't know, Boston Dynamics, it's your move. I don't know where the Spot Mini is going to be going. So I guess pick which robot dog you want to be your overlord.
Can't we just love both robot dogs?
No.
You have to choose one?
You have to choose a side. And that's really what it is. And that's what all of this is leading up to. But you could read about it at digitaltrends.com. You can read about all of them and let us know what you think. All right, Matt, what else is going on besides robots taking over?
All right, so I know every time I come on here, I end up talking about Facebook. I swear I do more than just Facebook, but Facebook is the biggest consumer product in the world with billions and billions of users, so we're always paying attention to it. And something that we wrote about yesterday, it's a little something that we noticed, was a feature that was taken away. Facebook is essentially making it harder for you to leave Facebook.
Really?
And so let's talk about probably one of Facebook's #1 features that you don't really think about. Birthday reminders.
Yeah.
How often do you look at your phone and go, oh man, it's my best friend's birthday and I completely forgot? Thanks for reminding me, Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I remember everybody's birthdays. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I use that so much. We all do.
So up until about a month ago, you used to be able to export those birthdays into your own personal calendar. I have a Google Calendar full of my friends' birthdays, or at least it used to be.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Facebook took that feature away. So you can no longer save your friends' birthdays to an iCal, Outlook, Google Calendar, anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you are essentially relying on Facebook now to remind you of your friends' birthdays. If you wanted to quit Facebook, you would no longer have access to that feature. So all of a sudden, Facebook is sort of reeling you, keeping you there, even if you thought about quitting, by keeping that feature within Facebook.
I mean, it's a smart move, I guess, on their part, but wow, that's just...
Well, there's a couple of ways to look at it. We actually reached out to Facebook, and a Facebook spokesperson told us that this was being done in the interest of privacy. That, for example, you could download my birthday off of Facebook. I could then choose to make that information private, and you would still have my birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are a couple of different ways of looking at it. I personally think that I've had so many friends come up to me and say, man, I would quit Facebook for all the things that's going on with Facebook, but I really love those birthday reminders.
Yeah,
I don't
something
know how to
that
remember
simple.
everyone's birthdays. It's a simple little thing, and now that it's entirely on Facebook, you're not going to have it if you leave. So that's probably keeping a fair amount of people from leaving right there.
Yeah, it's smart move. Smart move on their end. That's kind of crazy. And we've got this article up at Digital Trends too. You know, just
Yep,
kinda covering
this'll
that a
be-
little bit
this is
more.
all on
One
Digital
more step on
Trends.
Facebook. I know you say that every time we talk about Facebook, but I mean, you can't help it. You can't help it. I mean, they're always in the news.
Oh yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
And we're always looking to see what's going on with Facebook, what they're doing. They've got a ton of projects in the works. And one thing that is nice about Facebook is they do tend to get back to us when we ask them questions. So they do clarify why they remove features or add features or things like that.
That's great. Well, if you're watching live on Facebook right now, which we are broadcasting live on Facebook, let us know what you think about that, or whatever platform you're on. We'll certainly take those comments. What else should we talk about here?
So one last story that went up on digitaltrends.com early this morning is a fun and terrifying one about an Uber driver who picked up the wrong passenger.
Ooh.
So he was someone who was brand new to Uber in Albuquerque, New Mexico, had only done a few rides, was still getting the hang of it. He gets a call, shows up at a gas station, picks this guy up. This guy is holding scissors, which is a little strange.
Yeah, that's unnerving.
And so he goes and drops this guy off, does his ride. An hour later, the driver is sitting at home and the cops have surrounded his house.
Oh no.
Because he had acted unwittingly as a getaway driver for someone who had just robbed a gas station.
Oh.
So
Dang.
essentially what happened,
This guy robbed and then called an Uber?
he called, I guess he didn't have a car. He didn't want to go on foot, so what do? Maybe you call an Uber before you even go into the gas station.
Time it out.
Time it out.
It does tell you how many minutes you have.
You rob the gas station with your scissors, and then the Uber pulls up right as you're leaving. This
Yep.
guy, the driver had no idea. You know, he saw the guy with scissors, so he was a little suspicious, but he didn't think that he had robbed a gas station. Police thought the driver was an actual getaway driver and an accomplice. So they tried to arrest him. Luckily, Uber actually got him out of this jam because Uber keeps records of, you know, I got a call from this person, I went to this gas station, I picked him up, I dropped him off. So he could just say, oh, I'm an Uber driver, this is what happened. But
Yeah.
for a little bit, I'm guessing this Uber driver was a little afraid.
Dang.
Yeah.
That just adds into that whole. I mean, you never know who you're picking up or who's picking you up. I mean, we go on this trust system for it, and largely it's perfectly fine. But man, that's like something out of a movie.
Yeah, I do wonder how they rated each other, the driver and the gas station robber.
Good point.
I mean, maybe he was courteous in the car.
Yeah.
He was pretty quiet in the car. Who knows?
I wonder if he tipped.
Yeah, I wonder if he tipped too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just robbed a gas station, I guess you have a little bit of money
Right.
to tip with.
Throw a couple bucks. Come
Yeah.
on. All right. Well, that story is at Digital Trends. Follow up on that as well. That is fascinating that would happen. So now I'm going to be thinking about that next time I get in an Uber car. Maybe this guy's a getaway driver too. I don't know.
Don't rob any gas stations,
I will
please.
try not to do that today. I promise you that. All right, Matt, thank you very much for joining here.
Thank you.
Talk about some news. We've got some more conversation coming up. We're going to take a break, and then Parker Hall is coming in here. He's got an op-ed up at Digital Trends right now, and it's kind of discussing that whole Google not allowing Prime Video on their Chromecast and Fire TV not allowing YouTube on. They finally settled that issue, but there was a winner throughout all of that, and it wasn't either of them, and that's what Parker's op-ed is about. We're going to discuss that and more coming right back here with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you for being here with us, whatever platform you're on. We thank you for joining us, and it's always fun. We do broadcast on YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, Periscope, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Dailymotion, Apple News, 2 different phone apps, and a smart TV app, and of course, digitaltrends.com/live. Almost did it in one breath. And I'm Greg Nevler, joined right now by Parker Hall. Hello, Parker.
Hey, Greg.
Thanks for joining us here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You have an op-ed that just went up.
Yes.
An opinion.
Yes, I have many
opinions.
opinions.
You have an opinion that has been written out.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what this is about? I know it's in relation to some news from earlier this week.
Yeah, so for a very, very long time, one of my most popular articles on the site was how to get Amazon Prime Video on Chromecast. And that is because you couldn't.
Yeah.
You had to use some kind of weird workaround to be able to stream one of the most popular one of the most popular video streaming services to Chromecast, because Amazon and Google had a long-going feud whereby any Fire TV devices would not get YouTube, which is like the most popular streaming service, video service on Earth, and any Chromecast devices would not get Amazon Prime Video.
Which is just so ridiculous.
Yeah, so my op-ed basically talks about how, 2 years ago, I needed to get a streaming device because I was all of a sudden testing a bunch more video gear for Digital Trends, and I really didn't have a choice. I was forced to buy Roku because it was one of the only sort of agnostic devices that got everything I needed. It got YouTube, it got Amazon Prime Video, it got Plex, it got Netflix, it got HBO, anything that you could possibly want. To any service you want to watch was on Roku. And now that, as of this week, Google and Amazon have announced sort of the thawing of the feud.
Yeah. Which has been going on for years.
Which has been going on for years and years and years.
And the only reason, it wasn't a technical issue, it was just Google and Amazon fighting.
Yeah, it was just Google and Amazon fighting. They just didn't want to support each other. And it's crazy because, so at the time, and I speak about this in the op-ed, at the time, I was using Google Home for all of my, music needs, and I was using an Amazon Echo for all of my, like alarms and calendars and the weather and everything. So it would have made perfect sense at the time for me to buy a Fire TV or a Chromecast, and yet I was essentially forced into buying a Roku, which I absolutely love. I'm not talking crap about Roku.
Right.
They have a great interface, but basically, I think that's part of the reason, I'm not alone. There's a lot of other people who were making that purchase decision sort of because they wanted access to, a wide variety of streaming services.
I'm seeing here on our live chat on YouTube, actually, right now, Paul just said, this is what I was waiting to hear on Roku. Lewis says, I also got Roku TV. So, yeah, Roku certainly...
So what this has allowed Roku to do, they have, they're by far the most popular streaming video device. They've pivoted really heavily into tvOS, so a lot of TVs, instead of using their clunky house-made interfaces, are now using...
Which
are so clunky, are now using Roku interface. And I think part of the reason why, Roku had an easier in with those companies rather than like Amazon Fire TV or even Google with their built-in Android TV OS is because those companies wanted to make sure that their buyers would have access to every major streaming service. So I want to say that Roku now has 70% of the smart home interface, TV interface market locked up. They have something like 40% of the streaming device market locked up. And Amazon's quickly on their heels. And who knows, maybe, if I was making this purchase decision today, and Fire TV now has access to everything I need. Yeah. Maybe I would buy a Fire TV Cube instead of a Roku because I already use Alexa, as an alarm and for everything else. So it's one of those things. I think that Roku was really smart, and they were able to take advantage of sort of this feud between two huge companies and be that guy who's
right down the middle.
I like both of you.
Hey.
Both of you are great. And I think it worked really well to their advantage. It'll be interesting to see in the future whether they'll be able to maintain that lead. I know Amazon Fire TV has been really, really hot on their heels for many years now. I want to say they're but they're 10%, I want to say, around behind them in the streaming device market. And Fire TV TVs with that OS
with just
are on, they're screaming in terms of sales. I know Amazon Prime Day, I'm sure, will be a big time people will be buying those TVs. So, it'll be interesting to see, like, now that this feud is thawed and now that Google and Amazon are more willing to sort of play ball with each other for mutual benefit.
Yeah.
Whether, companies with coffers that size will be able to, how quickly, I should say, they'll be able to make up market share.
Or whether they both go after Roku,
I mean,
together,
it seems like that's kind of what they've decided to do, like there's a reason they're making this decision now, and I think a lot of it has to do with, there's major streaming services coming from HBO, from Disney, from Apple, and people are going to want a device that allows them to access everything rather than,
your little fight.
Yeah, no one's going to be like, I'm a dedicated, Prime TV nerd. Like, no, like I want to watch
YouTube. Yeah.
I want to watch us on YouTube, and also I want to watch my favorite shows on Amazon Prime TV. Or
Absolutely.
Prime Video, rather.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes. I mean, I'll say for me personally, the Fire TV interface, I have a Fire TV Cube. It's still pretty clunky.
Okay. Yeah,
to me, but I mean, I also don't think there's a lot of them that really do it really well
yet.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say Roku still, like, I love my Roku. I totally stand by my Roku. I use it all the time, and that's definitely another reason that they've gotten such a great market share is because they've always put sort of user interface and usability first. And it shows, they make an excellent product.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, like, when someone's used to, saying "Okay, Google" and having something come up, or saying "Sorry, I just did it for people," or used to talking to Amazon's assistant.
Yes.
And having it pull stuff up, they're more likely, it seems, to just roll right into that.
Yeah, stick in that ecosystem. Well, it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there. And I'm sure, like you said, with Prime Day coming up, that's going to be a huge... Well, we'll see a lot of shift there. I don't know if Roku's going to have deals on Prime Day too. Who knows?
I imagine they will.
Probably.
I think everyone tries to sell more products on Prime Day.
Right. Well, Parker's op-ed is up right now at Digital Trends, where you can go take a look at that, read that, let us know your opinion on it. But certainly, you've been in the thick of this for a long time.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Parker, thank you for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
And we have lots to discuss. Actually, I will say this, because Parker is going to be joining us back at 2:30 p.m. Pacific for Trends with Benefits, our podcast today. We're going to be talking about smart homes and, in particular, IoT. What is IoT? We're going to talk about that. We're going to really actually get into what the Internet of Things is. You see that word all the time, but we're going to discuss that in a roundtable podcast here. We're broadcasting live on our different platforms. You can join us in the conversation. So mark your calendar right now, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. Be right back here today to join us for that. Going back to the beginning of this show, we had Riley Wynn in here at the top of the show. I did not mention that you can follow Riley on Twitter at AllRyDoIsWin. He's on the path to getting verified. AllRyDoIsWin. You can follow him right there and discuss everything directly with him. And we did talk about some news that was going on. You can follow up at digitaltrends.com for that. We had, continuing on through that, let's see, Chief Science Officer, still best title, I think, title winner for the day, of Rekor Systems, Matt Hill, talking about artificial intelligence. We also had Sean Chu, the CEO of Catalytic, talking about artificial intelligence. So really talked a lot about that today. Some great interviews. We had Caleb Dennison in for the Prime Day preview. Caleb, you can follow up with his coverage there at Digital Trends. Matt Katz, of course, in here bringing us up to date with news, as he always does. I don't know if that guy ever sleeps. He's always on top of everything. So whatever it is, it works out great for us. So that was Matt who joined us. And we have so much here at Digital Trends every day. We do this show live. Tomorrow on the show, we have the return of Ken from Flipboard for Tech Briefs. The segment returns tomorrow. We've got Ryan Juanita who's going to join from Between the Streams, bringing up to date on movies and television. That's all on tomorrow's episode of this show. So hit that subscribe button and make sure you get the notifications when we go live. Paul, comment of the day right there. Love this channel. I'm a total tech geek. All right, Paul. You went on
that
YouTube.
Emoji.
Thank you. Yes, and the emoji. The emoji's pretty great too. So thank you everybody for joining us. Hit that subscribe button. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow with more Digital Trends Live.